welcome to my video. My name is Diane. I hope you're doing well. So for today's video, I wanted to talk all about the Louis Vuitton Neverfull. And specifically, I wanted to make a video for you in case you are in love with the Neverfull, if you have your heart set on getting the Neverfull, but you're just not sure and you're torn between the different sizes. I wanted to do a full in-depth review for you. I got out my Neverfull in the GM size here, and I also have the MM size right here. So if you're interested and you're really torn on which one to get, I hope this video today is going to be very, very helpful for you. Review and talk everything Neverfull, what the difference is, show you mod shots. If you love Louis Vuitton, if you like handbags, if you are always searching and you want to know really good reviews on different handbags, I would love for you to join the family, because here I like to do really in-depth reviews, hopefully helpful reviews for you to help you decide on your next handbag. So let's get started. So this is the cute little in my size, because I'm just a big bag type of girl. But this is the MM size. This is the Spring in the City collection, and this is the Sunrise Pastel color. I absolutely love this print in this bag. So I got this bag last summer. So I was just browsing on the website and this popped up and was available. So I just put it in my cart and bought it. And I'm so glad that I have this in my collection. The MM size is perfect as a daily tote. It is big enough where you can put all of your essentials in there, but it's also large enough if you wanted to just bring a little bit extra, such as like bringing a water bottle, or if you want to bring a little sweater just in case you're going to get cold. This one still has enough room, but it's not so big that it's like overbearing like the GM. This MM size, I feel like if you're out shopping or you're out on a daily, this is probably the bag that you will see more commonly out in public than the GM. So for the size difference, it is 12.6 inches in length. The height is 11.5 inches, and then the width of it is about 6.5 inches. When I compare the GM and the MM, the main difference is about 3 inches in length this way. So the MM is 3 inches shorter in length, and then it's about 1 inch difference in height and 1 inch difference in width. So the height and the width of the bags aren't that big of a difference. It's only 1 inch. The main difference between the MM and the GM is the 3 inches in terms of the length of the bag. The rest of the bag is pretty similar. It's just a smaller size. So it's just an opening here. There's the same little clasp closure that the GM has. There's not a zipper closure. So if you can see, it's just the clasp closure there. And then there's that D-ring on the inside. I think that the MM size looks cute when it's out like this. I don't like it when it's cinched up. And this bag, I've used it many times like this past summer, but it's still relatively new. And so it's still quite stiff in terms of it's still keeping its shape. If you can see the handles, they're still kind of standing up, because overall I just love this bag. It's like my unicorn bag, and I just don't want to ruin it. So that's why I haven't really cinched in the sides at all. What else can I tell you? Oh yeah, so when you buy the MM, it also comes with a little pouch as well. And the pouch is exactly the same as the GM size. I'm going to compare the MM pouch with the GM pouch, and they're actually almost exactly the same. If you can see here, there is my MM, and then there's my GM. They're pretty much exactly the same in height. They're exactly the same. I always wondered, and I thought that it was a little bit smaller than the GM. I think it's the PM pouch that's smaller. But the MM and the GM pouch that comes, they're both the same thing. So that's pretty much it. That's the MM. Here's what this tote bag looks like. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And here's what the bottom looks like. It's just so pretty to me. And I really love how the print is like this iridescent color. And then the Louis Vuitton flowers and the LV, it's bigger, but it's a little bit raised, and it's just so pretty. Let me show you. Hopefully my light won't wash it out. But look how pretty it is. I'm in love with this bag. So this is the Louis Vuitton GM size Neverfull. Can I just say, I've been reading a lot about how Louis Vuitton is trying to phase out the canvas, and they're really pushing the leather. And you know, I have nothing against the leather, but I just really love the canvas, and I am about to like panic and freak out because I just love the Louis Vuitton canvas. And this is such a workhorse of a bag. It is a tote bag, don't get me wrong. It's a very expensive, very elevated tote bag. You can probably get other tote bags for a lot less money, but if you're wanting a very classic, very timeless workhorse of a tote bag that will last, that's easy, that will get the job done, this is your girl. I got this because I wanted a tote bag that was elevated, but also at the same time a tote bag that would fit my laptop, that would fit my laptop charger, some books, my daily stuff, a water bottle, maybe a sweater. All of that stuff will fit in here, no problem, and you're still going to have some room left. Because of how big it is and because of how much it can hold, I would say most people use the GM as a travel bag. So if you're in the airport, it's almost like a game. It's like, how many Louis Vuitton GMs will you see? This one is in the monogram, and it has the vachetta straps and the vachetta like detailing, and then the cinching straps on the side are also vachetta. With the GM, it's really cool. Well, all of the Neverfulls actually, you can cinch up the sides, but I personally think that the cinching really only looks good and people only cinch the GM. Like the PM, which is the tiniest little Neverfull, that one is already a tiny bag to begin with, that if you were to cinch it, I think personally, I just think it looks a little bit funny. And then the MM is also cinchable, if that's a word. But I just think that the GM, when it's cinched, it just looks so good. I love the look when the GM is cinched. Let me show you from the sides. That's what the cinching strap looks like. And it's just, it makes it so this bag is more of a sizable daily tote. And it just goes to show how universal and how easy to use, because you could use it as a workhorse on days whenever you're wanting to bring a lot of stuff, or if you're traveling and you want to bring a lot of stuff, or you can cinch it up and then use it as a daily tote bag. Here's what the bottom looks like. There are no feet or anything like that. The size of this bag on the website, let me just uncinch it. So it's about 15.7 inches in length. It's about 13 inches in height, and it's about 8 inches in depth this way. And with the Neverfull, this is part of Louis Vuitton's timeless classic collection. And so this bag is definitely here to stay. There's the 3 canvas prints with all different sorts of colors for the interior. This one is in the Pavillon Pink, which is a really raspberry pink color, which is really pretty. And then, or you can get it in the epi leather, you can get it in the empreinte leather. Louis Vuitton prices are getting so high, as we all know, but the current retail price for the GM for the canvas monogram is $2,100 US. And when you buy the Neverfull these days, it actually comes with this little pouch that is included. This pouch is really cute in that it matches in terms of like the top of the zipper it matches the inside of the bag, and same with when you open up the interior. It also matches the interior of the bag. But this is what the pouch looks like. Look how flat it is. If you're interested, I'll link my other video where I review this pouch in detail. On the exterior, it's very basic. It's just a tote bag. There are no pockets. There aren't anything extra outside of having these cinching straps on the outside. And then when you go to the inside, before we go into the inside, as you probably already know, there is not a zipper. It's just a big open hole, and that's why it holds so much, because it's just a big sturdy bag that you can put everything in, and you're not limited in terms of having dividers or pockets or anything like that. But it's just one big open hole, and the only closure is this little closure or on the top here. And that's pretty much it in terms of security. On the inside, there is a big pocket, and this big pocket is big enough to hold your phone, your wallet, keys. anything that you want to be a little bit more secured because it is a zippered pocket. And then the only other thing that's on the inside here that I wanted to mention is there's a D-ring here on the side. With this D-ring, that's where you can attach the little pouch that comes with it, or you can attach keys or anything else to help make it a little bit easier. Now let's talk about the pros of this bag. So when I wanted the Neverfull, it was a pretty easy decision for me in wanting the GM size because I wanted a bag that was big enough for me to hold my laptop, my charger, sweaters, everything without having to be limited in terms of space. And this bag is it. I mean, you can fit everything in here. It totally, the Neverfull name is perfect because no matter how much stuff I put in here, no matter how heavy it gets, this bag never seems like it's full. So the Neverfull is such a good name for this bag. Another pro, you can go anywhere and you'll see people carrying this, and that's because for a reason. It's just a good workhorse of a bag. It's just so good. Everybody wants it. It's so classic. It's so easy. And the other thing that I like about this bag in particular, so this one is in the monogram canvas. I personally just love canvas. The Louis Vuitton canvas is so like low maintenance in terms of if it gets wet, you can just wipe it off. It's so low maintenance. I like how lightweight it is. I like how slouchy it gets. So like when you're wearing it on your shoulder and say if there's stuff on the inside of it, it just kind of molds to your body. And it's just a really comfortable, easy bag. All right, so even though I really like my Neverfull, I have to talk about the downsides if you're watching this video and you really want a review, a good, honest review. So some downsides of this bag, first of all, is this bag can get so heavy. Like, part of the reason is because it's so big that you can put so much stuff in here. And I think it can hold like 200 pounds or something ridiculous. But when it gets to be that heavy, the straps that are on the Neverfull are like unproportionately thin. Do you see how thin these straps are? They're like thinner than my pinky. And so when this bag is like completely filled and super, super heavy, for it to be sitting on my shoulder with these like paper thin, not truly paper thin, but super thin straps, it literally will feel like it's digging into my shoulder. I've actually gotten bruising from the straps because of how heavy this bag is and because of how thin these straps are. I just wish that these straps were just a little bit thicker. That would have been just so much better. And then on top of these straps, not only are they thin, these straps, the drop length of the straps, they're not as long as some of my other tote bags. Like right now, it's fine when you look at it, but whenever I have my big puffy winter jacket on, it can get quite tight in here with this drop length of these straps. And then the other thing about these straps was of how annoying these straps are. When I'm like wearing it, this outside strap will often like pop off my shoulder. And so I find that I'm very frequently trying to like put it back on my shoulder. One of the things that I personally do to try to prevent it from falling off my shoulder is I actually take this outside strap and I tuck it underneath the inside strap. So now the inside strap is over it, so they're kind of like crisscross on my shoulder. And so that way it helps prevent these straps from falling off my shoulder, if that makes sense. Another downside for this tote bag is the high price point. This is a Louis Vuitton piece, so you are paying for the name, but at the same time, this is a canvas bag that these days, this bag is literally over $2,000. So the high price point is definitely something that if you have your heart set on the Neverfull, this is definitely a bag that will keep its value and that you can use for years and years and years. But also at the same time, this is a very high price point, and there are a whole bunch of other brands and tote bags these days that will probably get the job done as well. Another downside for me about the Neverfull is the security, in terms of there isn't a zipper closure and that the only option is this like little clasp, especially because of how big it is. When you set it down, sometimes it will just like flop open and all of your stuff is like sitting on the floor, like exposed to the world. end the video and just give you my overall thoughts and recommendations if you are torn between the MM and the GM. First of all, there is not that much of a price difference between the MM and the GM in terms, there's only a $70 price difference. So you could think, oh, you'll get a lot more bag for the money if you get the GM, but if it's also too big where you often find yourself not using the GM, then go with the MM. I would say don't use price as like the major factor, because at this point, if you're wanting a Louis Vuitton Neverfull, the price is already steep as it is, period. The other thing too is really be considerate in terms of what you're wanting to use the Neverfull for. Like if you're wanting a daily tote bag that is like easy, it's really like the perfect size to bring everywhere, I would say go with the MM, because this is such a good size just to put everything in there, and it's still large enough if you wanted to put a water bottle, if you wanted to put a sweater, if you wanted to put stuff. This is like a perfect everyday type of size. If you're wanting a work bag, or if you're like a heavy packer like how I am, or if you travel a lot, then I would say go with the GM size, because this is also a very spacious bag, but at the same time you can cinch in the sides and then it becomes smaller to use more as a daily tote. So I don't think you can go wrong with either one. For me personally, it was an easy choice in terms of getting and starting with the GM because I wanted a work bag. So this one was what I was looking for. I like the big slouchy bag look, but then looking back, if I had to pick one or the other in terms of my first bag, I think if I had gotten the MM size, I would probably use it more often than the GM. But also at the same time, I still really love my GM, and I still use it as a daily tote. I love using it when I'm traveling, when I'm going to work, or even if I'm like going out to a coffee shop to bring my laptop to do some work. This is like such a good, handy, like fits everything type of bag. So I hope this video is really helpful for you. That's pretty much all that I have for you for today. So I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time. Bye.